Bienvenidos, gente. Gracias por estar una vez más aquí en este canal. Hoy traemos una entrevista más. Estamos en esta ocasión con Judge KEATON. Judge, thank you to be here. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for your time. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. How are
Great.
you?
I'm great. I'm so hyped for this interview.
Awesome.
Thank you for your time, really.
Absolutely.
Well, all my interviews I start with the same request. I ask to write to the actors and then to tell me a little about yourself.
Okay. Basically, I'm an actor. I do predominantly voiceover work at this point. I started out in on-camera acting when I was younger. I did some independent films. I did a bunch of TV stuff, commercials, all of that. When I was in my late teens, early 20s, I was in a boy band called No Authority, and we toured all over the world and did all that kind of stuff. That was fun. But I've always done voice acting, even from when I was really little. I think one of the earliest things that I did was I was Linus in the Charlie Brown cartoons for a couple of them, and then I was in the Back to the Future cartoon. I played Jules Brown. It was one of Doc Brown's two kids. Peter Pan and the Pirates I was in with Tim Curry. And Hercules. I was the teenage Hercules in the Disney movie before he grows up and is all buff and everything, when he's the little skinny guy. So just like Skinny Steve here. And then yeah, I mean I've been lucky enough to play a lot of Marvel characters. Actually, I was Spider-Man in the Spectacular Spider-Man. I got to be Electro in the PS4 Spider-Man game that was out. I've played Norman Osborn. I've played Ant-Man. I played a lot of Marvel characters, a lot of DC characters as well. I was Green Lantern. So basically, I've done a lot of superhero stuff, and now I get to be Cap. Well, I mean, he's not really Cap, but he's Skinny Steve. But it's a take on the iconic Chris Evans, Steve Rogers performance. So. And they've said now that this is MCU canon, so I'm part of the MCU.
Great. Yeah, you're part of the MCU, so welcome to the MCU. I'm not the chief of Marvel, but welcome.
Hey man, you know what though? Like the thing that makes the MCU are the fans, and like I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I was initially, at first when I got the job, it was just like any other job. Like I was excited about it. I was like, oh sweet, I'm gonna play Steve Rogers. That's awesome. And then as it started getting closer to like when they were gonna release it, and I started seeing all the hype, and I started seeing that they had like posters and posters of the Hydra Stomper and all of that. Like then I started to get a little nervous because I was like, oh man, like the MCU fans aren't going to be happy that like Chris isn't coming back and that it's going to be somebody else, but all the other actors are the same. And so then I started getting really nervous. I was like, oh man, what did I do? They're gonna kill me. And but the response has been so overwhelmingly positive and supportive that it's been really really cool to see, and it feels very I feel very welcomed by the MCU fandom. So it's been great.
Great. Do you have always want to be a actor? I know you tell me that literally all your life you have been doing this, but you have always loved doing this, or you want to do another things?
No, I mean that's a good question. When I was younger, like I grew up, I have three sisters, and so when I grew up, like my older sister was into it, and basically like it was just something that the family did that I kind of got brought into as a kid, and I always enjoyed it, but I mean, it wasn't necessarily like a passion of mine from the very beginning that I was like, oh, I have to do this. And to be honest, like because I mean, and you can, if you had followed my career, you would be able to see that like I did a bunch of different things. Like I was in music, I did on camera, I did voiceover, I did like I never really focused on one particular thing. And that was really because I didn't really know where I fit in and what I really wanted to do. It wasn't really until I was in my 20s that I really kind of realized, hey, this is I really love this. Like I really love doing this. and this is absolutely what I want to be doing with my life, and I can't imagine myself doing anything else. Like, along with that, like, there's a lot of other hobbies. Like, I'm a very technical guy. Like, I like to fix things. I like to build things. I like to mod cars. I like to, just all that kind of stuff. So that's always also been another passion of mine that I've always kept going. If I wasn't an actor, I'd probably be like an engineer, or if I didn't have college money for that, I would go and be a mechanic, and learn that. Like, it's the same kind of mindset, just building and fixing and figuring things out. When I was little, I really wanted to be an astronaut, and there's part of me that still wants to go to space. But yeah, man, it wasn't until my 20s that I really figured out, hey, this is where I want to be, and especially voiceover, because when I grew up in on-camera acting, there were a lot of parts that I wasn't really able to play because, I'm Latino. My mother's from Peru, and so I would audition for like Caucasian parts, and the first thing that I would get asked when I would walk in the room was like, "What's your background?" Because I guess I didn't look like white enough. And but then when I would go audition for Latino roles, they would be like, "Are you Latino?" And I'd be like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Well, you have blue eyes." I was like, have you ever been anywhere? I mean, they're all different colors and shade, like, eye colors and whatever. And so I was kind of stuck in this place where I didn't look Caucasian enough to play the white characters, and I didn't look Latino enough to play the Latino characters. So, I mean, that kind of wore on my mind a lot. And so when I started doing voiceover, like, one of the things that I loved is that you can play pretty much anything if you can do the voice, if you can be the character. It doesn't matter if you don't look like the character. It doesn't matter if you match. I mean, I'm kind of built more like skinny Steve Rogers than I am Captain America. But I mean, I've also been in Voltron, where I played Shiro, who was like built more like Captain America. And I would have never been cast to play him or Green Lantern in on camera, because I look nothing like them. But, I was able to do it in voiceover. And so I feel like voiceover just, it enabled me to really expand the available roles the roles that were available to me, and that was very freeing. And I also just, I love the people that are in the voiceover industry. It's growing, but it's definitely a smaller knit community. Everyone pretty much knows everybody, and I like that. It feels kind of like a little family.
Well, I I have to tell you, I was happy. I was honored to have you here, and I have no idea that you were also Latino. So
Yeah.
now I am more happy, more honored to be talking with you, because
Oh, it's
we're
awesome.
Latino, man. We're Latino, so
Yeah, absolutely, man.
we're brothers. We're brothers.
We
Yeah.
are.
So you now that what you was talking about, the voiceover industry,
Mhm.
how difficult is working in this industry?
It depends. Like, there's a lot of competition, but that's kind of the way it is for any kind of creative profession. But I'd say it's a different skill set than on-camera acting, for sure. I mean, when you're an on-camera actor, you have a lot of other things that you can rely on. You have the other person that you're acting opposite against, and what they're doing. You have your facial expressions. You have your body movement. You have wardrobe. You have props. You have a set. You have all of these other things that you can use to help inform your performance, and really kind of put together a character. Whereas when you have voiceover, it's just you. It's just you in a room by yourself. Sometimes you get to read with the other actor, and sometimes, and that definitely helps. But a lot of the times, especially when it's a project like this, where it's a lot of celebrity talent that they're trying to get together, everybody's got crazy schedules, so they can never really find a time that works for everybody. So usually you're recording by yourself. So if that's something that you've never done, if you've never really been in a situation where you're literally just in a soundstage with a microphone and a music stand in front of you with the dialogue on it, and maybe your director will kind of read the other character in with you, you have to use your imagination to basically put yourself there. You don't have a set. You don't have anything. You have to make it all up. And I mean, you don't even have the animation to go off of, because they record the lines first and then animate it later. So it's not like you're watching the thing and dubbing it. You're playing a scene to nothing. And so it's for people that aren't experienced in that, it's very difficult. It's difficult to be able to do all that without any other stimulus. So it's definitely another skill set. It definitely takes some getting used to. But I mean, I love it. I love it. It's something. It's been I looked at it in the beginning like a challenge, and I really enjoy it. I'd say that like reading is probably the best way to really kind of work out your imagination muscles, so that when you get into that studio, you're used to making those pictures in your head already.
Wow, that sounds great. Um, you already tell us that you was Spider-Man in the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series. I don't know if you know, but there's a great movement of people asking to renew this
Yeah.
series.
Yeah, save Spectacular Spider-Man. I saw it on Twitter. We actually trended in like the top 10.
Yes, yes,
10 years, more than 10 years after the show went off the air. Like there's still so many people that want to see it come back, which
yeah.
is amazing to
It's
see.
great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you if something happened and they gave a second chance to the series, and they call you, "Hey, Judge, we need you to come back." What you gonna
Like
say?
I wouldn't even have to think about it. Of course. Of course I would come back. You never have to twist my arm to get me back into the suit. Never have to twist my arm to get me back in that suit. I'll swing right in.
Nice, nice. Okay, so yeah, we recently heard your voice on What If, like you was the skinny Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
How was the experience?
To be honest, it was really not much different than any other voiceover job that I did. The only difference being that it was a voice match for somebody that already exists. So I've done voice matches before, and what I like to do is basically kind of make an audio file that I use to reference their voice. I'll kind of go through and all the movies, and I'll just pull as many audio clips of them talking as I can, just to kind of refer to it. So there was definitely some more preparation work that went into it, because it's not just your own interpretation of the character. I mean, within that, I still had a little bit of room to play and kind of give my own interpretation of it. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's such an iconic character and an iconic performance. I mean, this is Chris has been Cap for like 10 years, and that's who everybody thinks of when they think of Cap. So you can't really stray too far from what he did, because it's going to stick out, and people are going to like, people that are fans of the show, or people that are fans of the series, especially with so many other the actual on-camera actors coming back to be in the cartoon. It's gonna take them out of it. So there it was very similar to most voiceover jobs in that the process was kind of the same, but there was definitely there was some more prep work that I had to do in order to make it happen.
Yeah, and I have to say you make a excellent work, because I was not the only one. There was thousands of people thinking that the voice was the voice of Chris Evans.
Which is amazing, and that means I did my job, and that makes me feel great, man. Like there were a lot of people that said, there are a lot of people that said, oh hey, I knew it was you when I heard it, which is also cool, because that means that they're fans of me from other stuff. But there were a lot of people, like you said, that were like, I thought it was Chris until I saw the credits, and I was like, sweet, I
Yes, yes,
did it, I did it.
it was pretty similar. So excellent work in that. I mean, nada, no tengo
Thank
palabras, de verdad, o sea,
you.
tremendo, tremendo.
Gracias.
Um, I don't know if you can talk about this, but is the only character that you play in the series, or do you have another character?
That's it for now. I just I hope they bring me back for something. But yeah, I mean, I gotta say, they were also really cagey with everything in terms of like what they let me know and everything. Even when I was recording this episode, I didn't even get to read the entire script for the episode. They would only send me the pages of the things that I was actually in, and they wouldn't even let me download it. So I couldn't even download a PDF of it.
Wow.
I had to log in to their secure server to read the script there. And they can tell when I logged in, where I logged in from, how long I was on it, when I logged out. And it was literally just the scenes I was in. So I have no idea what's coming up. I hope I come back. It would be awesome. But they're super secretive about everything.
Wow. I know that Marvel Studios have a lot of secrets, but
Yeah.
that in that way, working like that is
I
like
mean, it feels like you're working for like Shield or something, where you have to like go through all these different clearances. And I was like, "Are you gonna like install an eye scanner in here for me to like scan my retina before I can read the script?" Like, it's crazy.
Super top secret that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna take more time of you, so thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you can try to say some words in Spanish to almost at least to say hi to the people.
Oh man, my Spanish is so rusty. I need to. My wife is Cuban too, and so like we I should be practicing. I should be practicing with her, but it's I don't want to butcher anything, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
don't worry. But thank you for your time again y de verdad muchas gracias, muchas gracias. Gracias por estar aquí. Así que gente, gracias por haber visto esta nueva entrevista. Gracias por estar ahí presente. Antes de irnos, you have a YouTube channel. Also, you have a Twitch account. So
Yes. Yeah. I stream on Twitch. My Twitch stream name is Space Padre. Space Padre. My Twitter is just Josh Keaton. My YouTube is Josh Keaton, and then also on Instagram at Space Padre.
ya escucharon, gente. Ahí, así que síganlo en todas sus redes sociales, en su canal de YouTube, en su Twitch, que ayer estaba viendo su directo. Así que pasen por allá y muchas gracias.